After last week, I needed to take a breath to regroup. Not from hitting the deer or almost getting hit by an angry kid, but from my terrible, horrible, no good rosters. I watched receiver after receiver go down with injuries or just not even get a target. And now I need to go back and think of a happier time, like the preseason when we were excited about rookies. Well, that's what we're going to talk about tonight on the Rod Pod. It's time to pull up a chair and talk some Dynasty football. I'm your host, J.J. Wenner, and this is the Rider Dynasty podcast. With me is my co-host, Joe Harlow. Jameson Hutchinson is on assignment. And to help us fill that void, we have invited the best and the brightest, however they were busy. So Sean and Joel are here to join us. Gentlemen, thank you so much. And let's jump right into it and take a look at last week's big moves and see how they panned out. Joe, what did you think of Amari Cooper's debut with the Bills? 4 for 66 and a touch on 5 targets.
You know, it was one of his best games of the year. Crazy what happens when you're not playing with Deshaun Watson. I don't think, as Jameson and I talked about last week, I don't think he's going to get the 10 targets he was getting with Cleveland every week. But I do think the 6-7 targets he will get are going to be significantly more valuable. So I was really happy with it. I hope to see him get closer to 7 to 8 targets than 6, but also there's a much higher touchdown upside now. I don't think he's going to be wide receiver 1, but I think he can really be a mid to back end wide receiver 2 rest of the season. Very happy with what it is and think it makes a lot of sense for the league as well.
Joel, are you in the same mindset when it comes to Cooper?
Yeah, I think this is a great move for him. Obviously, Cleveland was a graveyard, so anything else would have been a good move. And yeah, he gets to be the wide receiver 1 that Josh Allen's been missing. So yeah, I think this is a fantastic move.
All right. Sean, now you look like someone who has thought about a darkness retreat once or twice. So what did you think of Davante Adams' debut with the Jets?
It was exactly what we thought it would be. 9 targets, only 3 catches, 30 yards. Actually, his worst game of the season. So officially, he is washed. Rodgers is washed. Gardner Minshew carried Davante Adams, it looks like. So, I mean, these two were dusting up the cobwebs, getting back in sync. It was a tough matchup. We should expect to see these numbers boost up quite a bit, probably going forward.
Joe, are you on the same page with Sean regarding Adams?
Yeah, the
You're
9
muted,
targets.
young man.
I thought I unmuted myself.
Now you're good.
Oh, weird. Okay. I must have double tapped. I'm content with it. I think this was just a first game back, and then 9 targets, not super concerned about it. Aside from Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall, those are really the only players on the offense relevant. So, and they random Allen Lazard game, but
all right, maybe a Ty Conklin game every now and then for us tight and desperate people.
Which
that
is
would
all
be nice.
Which is everybody.
That is everybody. That is everybody. Now, Joel, I was going to start this question by lobbing a friendly barb in your direction, but I just realized that you look a lot like Furio from The Sopranos, if any Sopranos fans out there. So I'm going to pass. The Chiefs landed the big name wide receiver we've all been praying for. And hopefully it's going to spark the offense. Do you think Nuk changes their offensive woes?
I feel like the contrarian on this is that I don't think this is a needle moving move. I guess I just don't think it really. I don't think at this stage of his career he's much better than what they already have, and I realize that's damning with bad praise, I guess. But Yeah, he's a really low ADOT guy. He's not gonna. What they need is a field stretcher, and he can't do that at this stage of his career. He's a low ADOT guy, so he needs for him to be fantasy relevant, he needs super high volume, or he needs to run really hot on touchdowns. I don't think either is going to help or is going to happen in this offense. So I guess I'm going to pour cold water on this deal. I don't think this is really moving the needle for anybody.
Sean, with all that cold water, are you excited at all for the move?
I've been watching him here in Tennessee, and he's been wasted for the most part. I do think he will be touchdown dependent.
Okay.
Where, because the Chiefs are spreading the ball everywhere. And like Joel said, they need somebody that can stretch the field. So maybe this helps open up Worthy and some more deep passes or something. But right now, he's a possession guy. He'll move the chains and maybe out-jump somebody for some touchdowns. But I do think it boosts him a little bit, but it's not to the moon.
Now, I thought this entire offseason was the Chiefs getting only field stretchers with Worthy and Hollywood Brown. Is Brown just gone? Like, I still have him on a couple rosters. Is he coming back?
No, he's out for the season.
Is Marquise Brown gone for the season?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Somebody's got to make some roster moves.
Oh, Lord. All right. I'll be back in about 10 minutes. Somebody else could take over. Oh, I'm so disappointed.
Yeah.
God
no,
damn
it was announced a couple weeks ago that it'd be for at least the regular season. He might come back for the playoffs, but I think that's a stretch still.
Okay, well, I'm going to hang my head in shame. I'm going to throw out an IDP question quick and then just fade into the background. So, gentlemen, converse amongst yourselves. Jumping to the IDP side, Ernest Jones was surprisingly traded for the second time this season. He's heading to the Seahawks in return for Jerome Baker. So, Joe, starting with you, what is wrong with Jones, and why is he becoming like the Brandon Cooks of the defense?
So I don't think there's anything wrong with Ernest Jones. In fact, I think he's a spectacular player. Granted, so is Brandon Cooks, but I don't know why the Rams dealt him. I think they just don't value linebackers and didn't want to give him an extension. It's really what that came down to. It's just weird that they gave him up for nothing since he was a team captain, beloved, their best player on defense by a country mile. The Titans are just a dumpster fire right now, so we're selling off pieces. They sold DeAndre Hopkins, and honestly, I absolutely love this move. Jones was my linebacker one for Dynasty going into the offseason, and I don't know if he's at one overall anymore, but he's definitely a top 5 linebacker for me. He's not Roquan Smith, just not that type of player stylistically or just level at this point, but I think he can be that sort of a difference maker for the Mike McDonald defense, like when they got Roquan a couple years ago. I think Jones is absolutely spectacular, and I freaking love this move.
Sean, what are your expectations for Jones in Seattle?
This will probably save his fantasy season. He missed the first few games after the trade, and they slowly kind of worked him in. And I mean, he's been decent, but he hasn't been, a game changer like we had really hoped. So this should unlock him. This is a great move for Seattle.
Joel, the other side of this trade, what are your thoughts about Baker going to the Titans?
I don't think much of Jerome Baker. I don't think the league does either. He kind of sat. He was a free agent in the offseason and just kind of sat there for a while. So I just don't think the league thinks that highly of him. So I think this is just, Tennessee getting a body back in return that isn't going to cost as much as Ernest Jones was to re-sign. So, yeah, I just don't think much of him, I'll say.
Well, I know we kind of threw this idea out there, but any thoughts about in DT required leagues with Roy Robertson Harris going to Seattle? I know he had a good first game, 5 tackles.
Yeah,
kind of dominated.
Yeah, if you have to start a DT, I think he's fine. As a depth guy, but yeah, in a where you're just starting a D lineman, there's much better options, I would think. So, yeah, in a position specific league, I can absolutely see him being a part-time starter at least.
Okay.
Agreed.
So for the final question of this pre-show, Joe, Puka and Kupp are both starting tonight for the Rams. FanDuel has placed the line at 96 yards combined. They didn't give a combined one. I just added the two together. So 96 yards, Puka, Kupp. Do you think they're going to go over or under?
I'm going to have them over. I think Kupp might go over on his own. I'm not sure how much Puka's really going to be used, but I mean, Tutu Atwell is smaller than my toddler, and
to be fair,
Robinson's
you have a large
third.
toddler.
That's fair. But no, yeah, I think Kupp's going to by himself, honestly.
Okay. Joel, over, under, combined 96 for the two of them.
I'll say the over, just because the way to attack this Flores defense is through the air. They're a very good run stopping defense, so you have to get it through the air. So I don't think they're going to try and force Kyren Williams. The teams that seem to have the most success against this defense are the teams that know it well, which is the Shanahan guys and the NFC North team. So I think this is a game the Rams can move the ball. I think Minnesota's going to win. I don't want to spoil it, but I think the Rams will be able to move the ball. So yeah, I'll take the over.
Sean?
Yeah, I'll make it unanimous. I am worried about Puka, how much he's actually going to be able to contribute. It does feel like it's been rushed, even though he's been out for 6-7 weeks. Limited practices weren't very encouraging. Had they been full practice, turn him loose. But I'm a little worried here. But yeah, I think Kupp gets peppered, and they'll have to, like Joel said, to have a chance.
Yeah, I don't understand why the Rams are bringing Puka back this week. Short week, a couple limited practices. It doesn't make any sense.
There's no rush. There's no need. The season's, it's not quite in the trash can, but it's well on its way.
The one thing that would put it firmly in the trash can is if Puka rushes out too early and re-injures himself. That would end the season, even if they were to somehow win the game. It'd be over.
How we started the season, was it not?
Yeah.
He was injured in preseason. Yeah. They set him out, and kind of threw him out there, and he got re-injured. And 6 weeks later, here we are about to do the same thing again.
It kind of feels like they're just running him out there to be a decoy to take some attention away from Kupp, because he's really the only thing they've got going in the passing game.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, did you guys know that Hollywood Brown is out for the year?
What?
What?
Shoot.
All right, gentlemen.
So we do have a question in the comments.
Oh.
Joel mentioned body bags earlier, and we got one for linebackers. So I guess, from Mr. Bakes-A-Lot, To'o is practicing again. Neville Hewitt, who, spoiler, was my sit of the week in my start-sit article this week for linebackers. Then Christian Harris is coming back. Devin White got signed to the room. So Azeez Al-Shaair is injured. Honestly, the only thing Devin White signing really means for me is that Al-Shaair might be down for a bit. I don't care about any of these linebackers for fantasy until Christian Harris comes back. I think he's by far the best in that room. After the back half of last year, I wrote about it a lot after his horrid start to 2023 and then breakout of the back half. I think he's a pretty solid linebacker and think he's really good for fantasy in that scheme. I think it's just a stay away until Harris and Al-Shaair are back.
Yeah, Devin White is terrible at football.
Yeah.
And
he has been.
He has been. But this offseason, when he went to Philly, like my Philly friends, I live in Pennsylvania, they were all excited. And I'm like, oh, that's not what you think. But they were so excited. And it's sad sometimes to let people know, but yeah.
He had the craziest fall from grace. Went from a legit top 8 NFL linebacker to not even a top 8, not even rosterable.
But isn't that 24. The same thing with Levante David? Quan Alexander was the same thing.
With Quan, it took some injuries and being 28 plus, but Devin White just woke up at 25 and was terrible.
Okay, listen, it happens to us all. It happens to us all. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. I hope you are ready to draft some rookies, but before we do, let's get a word from our sponsors and start your season off right with IDP Plus. Visit idpplus.com for a limited time. Get 20% off any subscription with the promo code PROPS. Get access to our tools, data, and IDP articles. And don't miss out on our subscriber Discord, where your subscription gets you access to our entire suite of tools. Go to IDP Plus and start your march towards fantasy football glory today. Sean, you look like somebody who has a busy life, and you might eat a lot of fast food. Joel, are you getting tired and looking for a change of pace with your meals?
I am tired. Yes.
Have I got a deal for you? Go to idpplus.com/HelloFresh and get your first delivery for free. Pick from an exciting range of recipes and get fresh ingredients delivered straight to your door. Often a week's worth of meals costs less than a trip to your grocery store, and there are no wasted ingredients. That's right. No buying $12 worth of cilantro only for a sprig. Because what else are you going to do with that rest of the cilantro? Nothing.
Use it as soap?
That is a life lesson for everybody. So just visit idpplus.com/HelloFresh and get a free box today. All right, gentlemen, I wanted to see how much our opinions of the rookies have changed after 7 weeks. So to do that, we are going to conduct, I'm trying to do two things at once, gentlemen. I'm not good even at doing one thing at once. We're going to conduct a quick 2-round Dynasty rookie draft, 1 QB, PPR. The draft order is going to be Joe, Sean, and then Joel. And then as you draft, I will compare the new results to Fantasy Pros ADP from the off season. So with the first pick, we have Joe.
Yes. So I've been known to have some weird takes and some interesting stuff. So we're going to start this crazy. We're going to go with a guy who I had as a top 3 overall prospect coming into the draft. Not Marvin Harrison, but Brock Bowers. So it's going to be my first pick here. The tight end landscape is absolutely atrocious right now. In a dynasty league, in a redraft league, I don't think there is really a question that he's the number 1 tight end. So I'm going to go ahead and take him here. Just get it done. Whoa.
Well, that didn't work at all.
No, it didn't.
So,
while we fix that, we have a couple questions in here.
Let's answer some questions.
First, from Mr. Bakes-the-Luck again. Practice in baggy clothes.
Yeah, Devin White's not
Devin
on
White.
the radar right now. Yeah, he's
No.
depth.
Yeah.
Practice squad. Nothing
Yeah.
anytime soon.
Yeah. Then from Paris M. I love this new transition. This is fun. Richardson and Downs for May and 3 seconds. Whew.
Robbed him.
Well, Sean and Joel, what do you think of this trade for Paris?
I think it's great. You got out from under Richardson, who has really disappointed. You still get a good young quarterback and plenty of building pieces here. I think it was a good move.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I as much as we want Richardson to ascend to like the number 1 player in Dynasty, it looks like it's a long ways away. So and May's playing well. It looks like he's going to be a legitimate starter. So yeah, I like that transition. And then Downs is a good player, but you get 3 seconds in return. Yeah, I'm good for that. So I like the deal.
Yeah, I think it might be a loss in the aggregate or whatever, but I like it. May was my quarterback 1. Nothing has changed for that for me, honestly, which probably spoiler for this draft. But Richardson, he was going to be far away. We all knew it. He's still the youngest quarterback in the league. Downs, I think, is really fun and really good for NFL. But honestly, a couple seconds for him, I get it. I get moving him for that. I think he's going to be a career really good NFL receiver and kind of frustrating fantasy one, just the profile. Then Richardson for May and a 2. I will gladly take it's just a different upside swing. Like you could say that they're even. They're both raw. They both have some issues. If you could get a second with AR for May, I could totally see you taking it. So I get it. I like it for you. And
Man,
thanks for listening.
I can't get over how bad Anthony Richardson is at football.
I think that's harsh.
It's gross.
Okay. I can't believe how bad Anthony Richardson is at being a quarterback in the NFL.
Oh,
Like I was having this conversation with Doug Orth last night. That's right. Name drop. Yeah, it's not an impressive name drop, Doug. Sorry, buddy, but I'll drop it just the same. Eventually you have to be able to play football in the NFL, right? Like you have to complete a pass as a quarterback.
I mean,
You should.
At a point, however, he's also thrown less than 1,000 passes since he was 17.
That's
gonna
like
take
a
time.
him problem and not a me problem.
Yeah, it's
You know
a
what I
Colts
mean?
problem.
Like
It's a Colts problem.
it is a Colts problem. I just don't see. I don't know. It worries me.
It's worrisome for sure, but I think there's way too much AR panic right now. I think there should be some. I'm not saying there shouldn't be any, but I think a lot of people are throwing him away already, and it's way too early for that.
the reason is Jaden Daniels is everything we thought Anthony Richardson was going to be already. That's why. Because all right, let's say if Daniels wasn't as hot right now, maybe you give Richardson some more slack. Like it doesn't hit as hard, but since Daniels came in and has just lit it up,
Daniels is 3 years older than Anthony Richardson and has
you know,
played significantly more football.
right. But
And
the
also
fantasy
has
expectations-
he's shown nothing more than Anthony Richardson has from what they were as a prospect. Like we knew what Jaden Daniels has been, what we thought, and hasn't improved. He's the same quarterback he was at LSU. Anthony Richardson's the same one he was at Florida. There's a lot of growth. I think it's super early. Jaden Daniels, if he came out after Arizona State, would look significantly worse than Anthony Richardson right now, I think.
All right. Well, I'm ready to go back to the draft. I don't know about
Let's do
you
it.
guys. So let's take a look at where we stand. Brock Bowers has gone first overall. And we have Sean up next.
Yeah, so I wasn't expecting Bowers to go first.
I always do something crazy, Sean. You should know this by now.
Yeah, well, I'm going to stick with my number 2 anyway. This is significantly closer now that Neighbors is still available, but it's Brian Thomas for me. I was big on him all off season before the draft. He was my guy. For as far as receptions, he's right there. He's behind Neighbors, but he's got more yards. He's tied with Harrison for touchdowns. He is firmly locked into an offense with a pretty good connection with a quarterback. I see some issues with Harrison out there in Arizona with it's not Harrison's the problem, it's Murray's the problem, I think. Just that offense in general. So with that unsteadiness going forward, I want somebody who's dependable and who can give me those big points, and that's Brian Thomas.
All right. A little bit surprised by the first 2 picks. Can't argue with them, though. Joel, you are up next.
So I'm going to go hot take. It's not super hot take, but I'm going to follow it up with a hot take. I think Malik Neighbors is the most valuable non-quarterback asset in Dynasty right now. So I'm going to take Malik Neighbors.
Amongst rookies or including like Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase?
I think that as a long-term asset, I think it's above all players, because if you think about this, and I made this point the other day, if on one of our shows, if you think about this a rebuilding asset, if you're a team that's going to be in like a 2 to 3 year rebuilding window, by the time you hit that window, like Jefferson's going to be 28, Jamar Chase is going to be 27, Neighbors is 20, 21, 22. He'll only be like 24, 25. So he'll only be kind of jumping into, he's 21. So he'll only be like jumping into that to his prime. So I think because of that age difference and because of how like that target earning capacity is just monumental for a rookie, for anyone, literally. So Daniel Jones isn't going to be there forever. He'll have a better quarterback next year. And so I don't think it's too much of a hot take to say that he's the most valuable asset, non-quarterback, in Dynasty right now. Now, Bowers could be in a high tight end premium. Hey, I agree with Joe there that he absolutely should be. But otherwise, I think it's Neighbors.
All right. So we started off with Bowers, Thomas, and Neighbors. Joe, you are up next.
Indeed, I am. Two names here really sticking out. And it was my top two receivers coming into the year. But I'm going to stick with Marvin Harrison here. I think there have been some issues on film, some drops, some blocking has been an issue. But I think a lot of it, there's been some weird stuff going on with the offense. Kyler Murray's been weird and saying that it's not his job to get receivers the ball, which is interesting. I know where he was coming from, but it's like, you got to say it a little better than that. Then it's also like, do you actually mean that? But the offense has been weird. They're using him like the Packers use Romeo Doubs, just that sacrificial X role. So many vertical routes, not giving him anything easy. I think he is like purely on field, not fantasy. I think he's been already a near top 10 receiver in the league and the best of these rookie receivers. But fantasy-wise, yeah, I definitely think he has to be behind Neighbors right now. He's just not as dynamic, and he's not getting the easy looks. But I still think there is a legit top 3 NFL wide receiver in there. Just need Jonathan Gannon to let Drew Petzing cook and give Marvin some easier looks. Don't make him do the hardest thing every single week.
All right, so the first 4 picks, Bowers, Thomas, Neighbors, and Harrison. The first 4 picks in the Fantasy Pros ADP were Harrison, Neighbors, Odunze, and Bowers. So one difference with Thomas coming in for Odunze and a couple changes around. Let's see where
to
Sean
clarify,
goes.
That's the preseason ADP, correct?
Preseason.
Not right now? Okay.
Correct, preseason. Sean, you are up next.
I'm going to change it up and go quarterback.
Okay.
Oh.
Because I do think Jaden Daniels is, he's like a top 3 quarterback right now in fantasy. He's giving me the rushing yards, the rushing touchdowns. He's careful with the ball. Like, he's really not throwing any interceptions. Not a whole lot of touchdown passes, but with that, the offense that they have built out there in Washington, the way they're bringing him along and the way he's protecting the ball, I really like it. And if they could just work out probably cut down some of the rushing to elongate his career, will really go a long ways. Daniels for me, man. He's been fantastic.
All right, Jaden Daniels at 5. Joel, where are you going?
This is really tough for me because I want to take the Caleb Rome pairing, but I guess I can't do that. I think Sean's right in that I want to take a quarterback here. I'm going to take Caleb Williams. I've long been a proponent that even in single quarterback leagues, that having an elite quarterback is really important because you really want to differentiate yourself. And like, we're seeing a changing of the guard at quarterback in fantasy. Like, Patrick Mahomes is not it. He's not in that top tier anymore. He's fallen out. Jalen Hurts may or may not be in that top tier, depending on the consistency just isn't there. So if you can find an elite quarterback at this point in the draft, I think you have to take it. And Caleb looks like an elite quarterback. And they went out of their way to make sure he had weapons. And it was rough early, but I think he's pulled it together. I think he's going to be really good for a long time. And I think he's easily a top 5 quarterback in the league going forward, at the end of this year, next year. I'll take the elite quarterback at this point.
All right, back-to-back quarterbacks. Is Joe going to follow suit with his boy?
What do you think, JJ?
Drake May is the pick.
Drake, he is. I said it. He's still my quarterback 1 for NFL and for fantasy from this class. I think he still has some issues, but I think a lot of the issues that were shown, that a lot of people thought he wasn't able to read a defense, which was asinine at the time, that he wasn't mentally tough enough. Crazy takes, but he's already shown a lot of prowess as a passer, progressor. Still has some accuracy issues, but he's young. I think he's like the second youngest quarterback in the league, minus behind Richardson. The rushing upside is there. He's been quarterback 10 and quarterback 7 in his first 2 weeks as a starter. And those are against Houston, who's a pretty tough defense, and then Jacksonville's Jacksonville. But I feel really good about him long term. I think he has a murderer's row coming up with the Giants, Titans, and Bears as his next 3 opponents. But dynasty-wise, I feel great about him. And like what Joel said, you need an elite quarterback, even in a 1-quarterback league. I love having one early, a young quarterback to start, and then backfill with your Geno Smiths, your Matt Staffords, and sort of stuff. But here, there's 3 elite fantasy quarterbacks in this draft, so we got him.
All right. Well, there's 3 quarterbacks gone. I'm assuming, Sean, you're going with Spencer Rattler. Should I just fill that in, or?
Whoa.
Oh, I'm sorry. Where are you going, Sean?
I'm going to go back to a wide receiver here since this guy kind of slid down a little bit now that we got quarterback run. Roma Dunze. Caleb Williams has his future stud to go along with veteran DJ Moore, as soon as Keenan Allen is out of the way, that is. The numbers haven't been super, but he definitely has a role in the team. We've seen him blow up for at least one game. It's just going to be time. And he's shown, he can do all kinds of things on the field. He's a fantastic blocker. So that alone keeps you on the field. So at least you have a role. I think he'll be fine. We may just have to give it, another season. Maybe towards the end of this year, maybe he catches on fire a little more. But this is one that's going to require a little bit of patience.
All right. Well, that's one thing we have a lot of is patience. Joel, you're up next.
Well, it's been a great show, everybody. Thanks for joining us. This is a clear tier break. I'm gonna have to drop down. I'm gonna take the running back one. I'll take, even though he hasn't played yet, and take Jonathan Brooks. So we're at the point where we're taking guys based entirely on potential. I still think he has that elite potential. Just very much concerned about what that offense is going to look like and whether he's going to be able to show it in that offense. And I don't want to say I'm disappointed that he hasn't played yet, but kind of would have hoped that he was ready to at least crack some games by now. But hopefully they're just being cautious with him. But I think he's the most talented player left at this point. So I will take the gamble on talent.
All right. Jonathan Brooks is the pick. And we are up to Joe.
This is also a tough one. I was really hoping you'd go with not Jonathan Brooks, but
I'm not familiar with that player. I didn't scout him.
Yeah.
So he's very similar to this Jonathan Brooks guy, but just the exact opposite.
Got you.
Yeah.
I'm
going to go with a receiver here.
Oh.
I'm going to take Alad McConkey. I think there's just a chance. I think he's really good football player. Might fall into the Josh Downs thing we mentioned when we were talking about the trade from Paris, where he's just a better football player than fantasy one. But I love Justin Herbert, and I'm going to stick with the guy who I think is his top receiver and probably will be next year too. I wouldn't be shocked if Chargers just go bolster the O-line again, or that defense not invested a first-round pick in a wide receiver. But we'll see. I'll go with Ladd. I think he's been really impressive when he's been on the field.
All right. Sean, you are up next.
All right. Let's just kind of pick your flavor now, I think. I'm going to go back to wide receiver. Into Buffalo with Keon Coleman. I do
That's the
think,
other name I was looking at, for what it's worth.
Yeah, he has shown, plenty of flashes. Having Amari Cooper there should only, help him develop and help get him open. The Bills, they're going to kick it up. Playoff season coming up. I expect him to start putting up some more consistent numbers, I guess, is what I'm really looking for. Because he has been very up and down so far. So, yeah.
All right. So
That's
Keon Coleman goes at number 11. Joel, with the final pick of the first round, who are you going with?
I was really hoping Sean didn't take Coleman because I really don't want to take just a gadget guy, but I guess I have to, and I'll take Xavier Worthy. And I think he is just a gadget guy. I don't think there's any hope of him ever becoming like Tyreek Hill or anything like that. But he has shown the ability to score touchdowns. So and that's valuable. I mean, you can throw him like I don't like the target volume. I don't like the inconsistency. Right. He's not a player that I'm super high on, but yeah, there is. I think I can, he's a guy I think I can probably package and trade after he spikes a good game. So I think we're at that point of the draft. Yeah,
he's maybe a flex here and there with the matchups, right?
Right. Yeah. I hope you get a 2 touchdown game on 4 targets, 2 touchdowns like he did week 1. I think that's best case scenario for him.
Could be a fun best ball player for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
So after the first round, the only 2 players to fall out, according to ADP, are Trey Benson and Blake Corum. Everybody else did appear in the top 12. Everybody else who was in the top 12 is still in the top 12. So let's go.
Who were the ones who snuck in? Was it McConkey and Coleman?
It would have to be.
Or the quarterbacks, probably.
No, Brooks.
What?
Because of the injury, I guess. That's kind of
interesting. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. Let's kick off the top of the third round. For second
round. 1
round.
guy in, 2 guys out. Makes sense.
Joe, you're up.
I am up. Oh, boy.
May snuck in.
That's what. Okay, makes sense. This is a tough one here. I guess I'm going to go with Xavier Legette here.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm still not the biggest Legette guy, but potentially wise, he's definitely the highest of the receivers remaining.
Jameson is happy with that pick.
He is. Had to do it for him. That's what we're going to go with. But I think he's shown some potential. I think he's better now than I expected him to be as a rookie. I just really got to hope they do something with the quarterback situation. Andy Dalton, also hope he recovers after a car accident. Out this week, correct?
Yep.
Yes.
So Bryce Young gets another shot against the Broncos.
Fun for him. Fun for him. Sean, you are up. Oh, sorry, buddy.
Yeah, it's just an upside shot here.
All right, love it.
Except for Bryce Young, who is about to get murdered this weekend.
True.
Dynasty, not redraft. Dynasty.
Yeah, there you go. All right, so I don't really want any more wide receivers right now.
Okay.
I'm going to switch over to running back. And I'm thinking Bucky Irving here. I was pretty high on him before the season. Dude's scored a few touchdowns. I mean, he showed, run and catch. Seems to be carving out more of a role for himself.
Mm-hmm.
Especially now with no wide receivers left in Tampa.
They definitely have to run the ball.
Yeah, or throw it to a running back, and he seems to be the best one to catch it. Well, White's pretty good too, but they have a 3-headed monster it's really fun to watch just how interchangeable these guys have been and the different roles. And I do think Bucky carves himself out an even bigger role the rest of the season.
All right, Joel. It's getting thin out there.
Yeah, I'm going to follow up on Sean's, and I'm going to scroll the F down, and I'm going to take Tyrone Tracy.
Damn it. Damn it, Joel.
He was one of my favorite kind of sleepers off the board guys, and he's shown that he can do it. Like when Singletary missed time, he got in there, and he was nominally behind Eric Gray and just kind of took over the role. Had that 100-yard game against Seattle. So, yeah, give me the guy who's shown he can do it.
Yeah, he looked good, too. Like he was making good reads and everything.
Yeah. That's a great pick. Very angry at you.
That was the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah. I almost took him over Legette there, and apparently I should have. But...
All right. So with the next pick, Joe, who are you going to go with?
I'm going to stick with running back here. It's just a matter of which one.
I can pick for you if you want.
No, I'm going to go with Trey Benson here.
Let him build
He He hasn't shown much this year, but I still do believe that Drew Petzing and the Cardinals can have a really strong run game. There's a lot of really good design there. James Conner has been really good, but we talked about it. He's very injury prone, and he's an older player. Still don't think it's out of the question that Trey Benson is a league winner this season. If and when James Conner gets hurt, if it's for an extended period of time, Benson can come in and still some vision issues, but if he can come in and just absolutely break a game, especially if Kyler Murray can get on page with Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, and Trey McBride and open up the pass game to get the box a little lighter, I think Benson has that potential still.
All right, still a Benson believer. Sean.
Wow. So I was born in North Carolina. Then I came to Tennessee, and I'm a Dolphins fan. So I'm taking Jalen Wright, who was born in North Carolina, went to college in Tennessee, and now plays for the Dolphins.
Well, how the hell about that?
That's pretty neat, huh? I just found all this out. Yeah. So I think he's shown really good that he can run the ball when given the opportunities. The problem right now is the opportunities. Tua coming back should open up a lot of things. I know Mostert's back, but these guys, Mostert, Wilson, they're not going to be here forever. They're old. They're probably on their way out. HN has shown, he could be the big play guy, but they don't want to hammer him all game or else he's not going to survive. So I think Wright, probably more so next year, will be the hammer for this Dolphins team.
All right, the hammer it is. Joel.
Oh, man, how many more of these picks do we have to make?
You are making right. 3 more, my friend.
I'm going to take another guy who's all potential right now. That's Ricky Pearsall. He's gotten what he needed, right? Even though he missed time, he got the Brandon Ayuk injury, so he's going to have half-season runway to get on the field and show what he can do. So let's see it. So I think he's got some trade value right now just because of the potential. But, let's see what he can do.
All right. Well, we are going to then go ahead. Joe is up next.
Yes. So with this pick, I'm going to... Oh, I just lost my spreadsheet. I'm going to pair Drake May with Jalen Polk. Polk's had some issues going on right now, but I still think the talent's there. Loved him as a prospect and think he can really... If he can get some synergy, I think he can be a legit wide receiver too for a team.
All right. Jalen Polk it is. Sean?
All right. So, man, we are getting sparse here. Going back to running back. And I think I'm going to go with the old school bruiser here with Braylon Allen.
All right.
I mean, I like his potential. He's been paired pretty good with Hall. He's making more catches than I thought he would. And right now he's touchdown dependent, but playing for the future.
Okay, so Braylon Allen's off the board. There's still a guy out there who I'm confused as why he hasn't gone yet, but I'm sure Joel's going to take care of that right now for me.
Nope.
Well, following on the back of Ricky Pearsall, I'm going to take another guy who's going to get a chance because of an injury, and that's Jalen McMillan, who's going to probably slot right into the Chris Godwin slot role in Tampa Bay. Had a great preseason, so we'll see what he can do with some full-time snaps.
That's not who I was thinking about, but Joe?
I'll rectify it for you, JJ. I'm going to take Ray Davis here.
Thank
Your
you.
guy. You're welcome.
That's my man.
I thought
love
for
Ray
sure it
Davis.
was Malachi.
No, Davis looked fantastic in the game. James Cook missed. I think he is a legit running back 2 right now. And with that offense, with Josh Allen manning the helm, I think, if he ever gets running back 1 snaps, I think he can really be that the game against the Jets wouldn't just be a blip on the radar. He has the talent as a blocker, a runner, and a receiver.
All right. Well, I love Ray Davis, nothing but love. Sean is on timeout right now for the Malachi Corley joke. So I am going to pick for Sean No, I'm not. I wouldn't do that to him. Sean, go ahead. You can come back and make your pick. Jameson does rule. I know.
All right.
You're not my real dad. I've heard it.
I was really hoping you would make this pick for me. I've run out of names, people that I know. Let's go back to quarterback. And It was unfortunate this guy got hurt. He's going to miss the entire season. But if Sam Darnold can succeed on the Vikings, why can't JJ McCarthy?
Is that a rhetorical question or?
Yeah, that was it. That was the big speech.
Okay, that was the whole thing. All right, just wanted to make sure. I won't make you speak any longer. Joel?
Thank you.
With the final pick.
Yeah. I guess there's nobody I really like, so I'll just be a homer and say Marshawn Lloyd. Just has not in any way answered the questions that we had about him being, reliability, ball security, pass protection, being able to stay on the field. But the talent is still there. The electricity with the ball in his hands is still there. Hopefully he's, spending this time wisely and learning the things he needs to do to get in good graces with coaches and be able to actually earn snaps. But I'm not optimistic, but yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard sometimes to be optimistic when, I don't know, when the guys don't show up yet in the season. Now, the biggest difference I noticed between this draft and the preseason mock drafts we did is that we were excited at the end of the second round in the preseason. And that's the harsh reality of the football season, isn't it? Like all the guys, all the shiny toys who are going to show up, they don't all show up.
No, they don't.
Man, just every year.
Is there a best of the rest? Like any love for Jatavian Sanders? He's starting to show out a little bit in Carolina. Theo Johnson? No, nothing.
I still believe in like an Adonai Mitchell, the talent there.
Okay.
But there are legit Anthony Richardson questions. So
what about Troy Franklin in Denver?
Couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less.
Nope.
Marvin Mims Part 2.
All right. So Troy Franklin, no love there.
Kamani Vidal and Blake Corum and Audric Estime, I think all have something there.
Garendo? Or is he just like that the San Francisco third running back who always looks good for a moment? And
I think he's that.
Like a mustard burp, momentarily tangy, and then disappeared into the wind.
Sure.
Yeah, that's
sure.
No,
that works.
Hey, it's a quote from the same movie that Boat Drinks is from. So,
hey,
things to do in Denver when you're dead. But gentlemen, it's football season, and that means a trip to see your favorite team on the road. Well, with Expedia, you get the best prices when traveling, and we are thrilled for our partnership with them. Need a flight to Denver, rent a car in Miami, or a hotel in San Francisco? Go to idpplus.com/Expedia and build the best package to travel to the big game. All right, gentlemen.
Before Thursday night, we have another question in here.
Let's do some questions.
Yeah. From Peraico? I'm sorry.
It's easy for you to say, sir.
Yeah. Wants to know if trading Mahomes and Brees or Kyron for Jaden Daniels, Pollard, and Neighbors. When I first read this, I thought it was just for Jaden Daniels. Like, wow, that's some hype. But
so Mahomes, Brees, or Kyron for Daniels, Pollard, and Neighbors. Redraft, Superflex.
Redraft. Also read as Dynasty. So
wide receiver 1 is Jefferson. Other QBs are A-Rich and
you might be okay this year.
Man, Brees looks really good on checkdowns. Yeah. I mean, that's how he made his hay last year. Tons of checkdowns. And every time he got the ball last week, he did something with it. Mm-hmm. But I'm worried about how much that's going to go away. as Davante Adams gets better, which will then will open up Wilson a little bit more. Lazard's still there. I think I'm
trading
trading
Kyron.
You're trading Kyron.
I am. I think there's a world where Kyron's the better running back rest of this season, but I think there's also the world Stafford gets hurt or they trade Kupp and Nakua's hurt again, and then Kyron's the only player, and it's just 8 in the box, 9 in the box every single play, and he can't do anything.
So, are we for this trade? I think I'm for it.
Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, I'm for it. I think the big question is he wants to know which running back to trade away. And judging by the answers already, it really doesn't matter. Just take your pick here.
What do you think, Joel? Brees or Kyron?
Yeah, I was just saying I'm fully on board of moving off Mahomes. I want to keep Brees because his usage since Downey took over has been just really exceptional. So yeah, I'm really, as much as I'm a Kyron groupie, but I don't want to get rid of him. But if it gets me Neighbors back, yeah, I'm okay with that. I think you really got to hold on to Brees.
I think so too.
Yeah, Braylon Allen has disappeared. So
yeah.
I will say if it becomes something where it has to be Brees, I'm still fine doing it though. Doing this trade if it's Brees instead of Kyron. I
might be fine with either as well.
Yeah, I think the upgrade from like this, as crazy as it sounds, the upgrade from Mahomes to Daniels is really you have to do it.
You're getting Neighbors in there, and Pollard's been solid. So
exactly, yeah. The Neighbors Daniels combo by itself, regardless if you got Pollard, is huge.
All right. Any other questions?
Those are all that I'm seeing right now.
All right.
Harris had stated that they sent one of those twos for Pop Douglas, which I think makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Well, let's take a look at Thursday night football. Last week, Jameson had 3 correct. Joe and I tied with 2 for the season. Jameson and Joe are tied at 10, and I am not at 10. Tonight, we have Sam Darnold and the Minnesota Vikings visiting Matt Stafford and the L.A. Rams. So let's take a look at these lines, see what we're going to do. We have Minnesota giving 3 points. I will kick it off. I'm going to take Minnesota.
Same.
I mean, I don't think the Rams are very good, so.
I think Minnesota's very good.
Jameson is taking the Rams +3. Jameson's like that. Joel?
I think the Vikings are going to win. I'm going to agree with Jameson. I'm going to take the Rams in the backdoor cover here.
Whoa.
I think this is a close game, but I do think the Vikings win.
Now, for the record, I am just saying I am terrible at this, so I think I might agree with Joel now. I might change my mind. Sean?
This game is either going to be a 2-point game or it's going to be a blowout in favor for the Vikings. And I really don't know which way it's going to go. Having Kupp back, Nakua back, makes me think it's going to be closer to that probably 2-point game. I'm still skeptical of Nakua's availability here. I do think I'm going to take the Vikings by 3, but I wouldn't be surprised if Joel was right.
Nice. Hedging your own bet. All right. The over-under is 47.5. Sean?
Give me the over.
Give me the over. Okay. Joel?
Yeah, agreed. This feels like a 31-30 game or something like that. So, I'm going to go way over.
All right. Joe?
I'm also on the over here. I think Stafford's the type of quarterback who can do some damage to Brian Flores' defense. And then, especially if it is a garbage timing game, I don't think they're going to get shut out in garbage time if it's a blowout.
Well, Jameson and I both agreed. We are both going with the under because Jameson rules. All right, we have 3 prop bets that we're going to pick on. First, Stafford, passing yards, 242.5. I am going with the under. Sean, what are you doing?
Oh, boy. I feel like this is actually pretty close. I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over. So I do think it's garbage time where he gets most of this.
Well, Jameson agrees with you. He is also going on the over. Joel, where are you?
Yeah, I agree. Like I said, the way you attack this Vikings defense is through the air, so I don't think they're even going to pretend to try and run the ball against that interior defense. They're really good. So, yeah, I think they're going to have to throw. I think they will throw, and I think Stafford's going to go over.
Joe, did you pick?
I did not yet, but I agree. I think it's going to be an annoying game for Stafford where he throws for like 310 and 1 touchdown.
1 touchdown.
Kyron having like 2 touchdowns on the ground
interceptions.
with like 40
The
yards.
Geno Smith special.
They're both so good. It's frustrating for fantasy when it doesn't match how good they are on the field.
Well, I don't like the fact I was the only one who went the under.
You're
Aaron
a genius.
Jones, rushing yards, 71.5 over or under Joe?
I'm going to go on the under here. I think it could be, if it was a total, I'd go over, but rushing wise, I think there's going to be more damage done through the air. So,
All right. Well, Jameson
Had to go
agrees
take
with
one
you.
under.
He took the under. So we have 2 unders. Joel, where are you going?
I'm going to agree and take the under. I agree with Joe. It's if you gave me like a yards from scrimmage total, I'd probably take the over, but I'm going to take the rushing under.
Sean?
He is kind of banged up. I'm taking the over. I think they get ahead and they just turn him loose.
Sometimes when I make these picks, I just hope somebody picks the same way I did. Then every once in a while, that other person is Sean, and you're like, dear Lord, what have I done? I am also taking the over 71.5. Oh, God, Sean, you are not sparking a lot of confidence in my picks.
It's you and I, JJ.
Oh, you and I to the end, like Thelma and Louise, baby. I guess that would make Joel Brad Pitt and Joe the car. Jordan Addison is our last line of the night. 44.5 receiving yards. Seems doable. Don't you agree, Sean?
I'm going to say no. It's the Jalen Naylor game.
Oh.
And Justin
Jalen Naylor. You sicko. I love it.
All right. Joel?
I think my rule of thumb in these kind of situations is if they can get that total with one play, then you got to take the over, and I could see that happening. Just one broken play or something like that. So I'll take the over.
All right. Jameson is also taking the over. Sorry, Sean. He abandoned you. Jameson does not rule.
I'm a Jameson fan through and through.
No, are you going over or under 44.5 for Addison?
I'm bouncing off of what Joel said. It's like Addison in all 4 games he's played has 3 catches in all of them. Gone over twice, gone under twice. I think he's the guy, he's either going to have 25 yards or 85, I think. So I'll go with the over. We wanted the over on the total and, over.
All right. Well, I also went with the over 44.5 for Addison. So hopefully I won't be completely wrong, as I have been the last few weeks. Gentlemen, it is time for tags where we let everybody know where they can find
Puka
us.
and Kupp officially active, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Huh. Good for him.
Yep.
And let everybody know where they can find us. Joel, you're up first.
Well, if you're missing your Jameson Hutchinson and need a fix, you can find him and myself on Sunday morning doing the live DFS show right here on the IDP Plus network. You can also find me tomorrow morning with the Best Ball show. We'll be releasing in the morning, and we'll have the DFS best options, top plays article coming soon to the website as well.
Awesome. Sean.
I am way less busy than Joel. You can find me at Sean8386 on the Twitter X. Sunday mornings, I'll be here to help give you some start-sit advice with Ricky and Michael. And that's it. I'm lazy outside of that, guys. Good luck.
All right, Sean. Oh, no, Sean, you just went. Joe.
Yeah.
You can find me at JoeLo63 on the Twitterverse. Want to say thank you to Joel and Sean for joining in with us, and check out the website for our great podcasts, videos, articles, including my start sit that I am back for this week after Santa took over the last couple of weeks while I was out of town. So thank you to Santa, and hope you check that out and enjoy it. IDP starts and sits.
All right. I'm at JJ Wenner on Twitter. Thank you to everybody who joined us tonight on the stream. Thank you to Joe for all of his work. Of course, Joel and Sean for joining us tonight. Make sure you're following us on YouTube, IDP Plus. Also, our sister channel, IDP Plus Bets. They do great work over there as well. Great work to Gary for all of the work he does to help us out. Be sure to tune in next Wednesday to the All Out Blitz with Doug Orth and myself as we dive into the film and analytics over week 8. And come back on Thursday for another live Rod Pod. So from all of us to all of you, be safe, be well. And as always, boat drinks, my friends. Boat drinks.
Thank you for watching the IDP Plus YouTube network. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Be sure to tap the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload new content.
Are you going to hit stop?
Mm-hmm.